Hello, 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 everyone. Everyone who is just joining, hello. How's everybody doing? Everybody okay? I'm very excited. I just ordered a little nutcracker bird from Target. Hello, 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 hello.
No, G, bro.
Sorry. Did you say something, Austin? Sorry, my
Yeah, talking. You were talking to me now. See, my mic
I
wasn't
hear.
even.
Yeah, I hear you.
Sure.
I can hear you. I just had my headphones were down pretty low. My mask is poking me in the eye today. I had to bring a fork.
Did you get my submissions I turned in over the weekend?
Yes, I believe that I did. I think I graded it. I didn't get the Spanish theater thing, so I'll come down if you do. You have it with you?
The Spanish theater one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like it wouldn't let me even open it because it's a maximum attempt. So I emailed you and I emailed you the first one that I completed one, and the other one I emailed you saying can you unsubmit it? Like I'm get because it never let me submit one of them.
The one that you were supposed to draw?
Yeah, the drawing one wouldn't let me. Wouldn't let it's
Yeah,
just
so just bring it to school
huh?
and just give it to me in person.
Okay, I will.
Okay, cool.
Okay, for sure, for sure.
Yes, today is B day. So I know you're still getting used to the schedule. It is B day. So you might want to message your teachers real quick and just let them know what was going on because That's one of the things my advisees, the first and last thing that I tell them is what day it is. But I have it in my planner. Like every day it says BAB so that I don't forget because I'll do the wrong thing too. Justice is here. Sorry, y'all. I don't know why I'm yawning. I went outside during my break. Well, I had to go to the primary school building. So I spent a little time outside and that was fun. I was watching some of the elementary school kids because they were on recess and they had given some of them pool noodles and they were just like smacking each other with these pool noodles. And then there was a bunch of kids who had made like ninja stars out of paper and they were like whipping ninja stars around. Whew. I think that every grade should get recess. Like we should all get recess. We should be able to go outside and have recess. We should vote for recess. If I was teaching in person, I would take us outside just to like not be inside. Jaden McDaniel. All right, y'all, since you're here on time, let me give you the Nearpod link so you can go ahead and get signed into the Nearpod, please. Okay. So there. Oh, I got a couple people coming in right now. Let me wait while they're getting logged in. Oh, a bunch of people. All right, here comes.
Will you put the link in chat, please, when you get a chance?
Yeah, I will. I just, now that I'm getting a bunch of people joining, I'm just gonna wait so I don't have to keep posting it over and
Okay,
over
yeah, I
again.
understand. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So what it is, Cortland, is that it goes B-A-B-A-B, right, for a week, and then A-B-A-B-A. So it goes like 3 days of one letter a week, and then it alternates. It's very similar to how it's usually set up in college. Except normally in college, you'll have like Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes will be like 50 minutes long. And then Tuesday, Thursday classes will be 80. So there's the Nearpod. You can go ahead and get signed in. I just hit my knee really hard on the desk. My legs are too long for this desk. Let's see, who am I missing? There's Giselle's here. Trying to take. Ethan, is it the cord? Like, do you have corded headphones? Oh, you don't? Could be interference then, maybe. I don't know. Are they Bluetooth? I'm assuming they're Bluetooth. Yeah. Could be interference if somebody else is using Bluetooth nearby or there's another like Bluetooth system on, like your phone or a Google Home or something like that. Jennifer is here. All right. So let's go ahead and get logged into the Nearpod. Before we begin with the Nearpod, I would just like to remind all of you that your projects are due tonight by midnight, right? I have not gotten any drafts really to look at over the weekend. So please make this a priority. I apologize. I received 2 drafts. Make this a priority. Try to get that done, okay? Because we need to move on to our last sort of big thing, which is the paper on a musical theater production. All right. So if you look in today's folder in Schoology, and I'll go ahead and share my screen, maybe if it will let me.
Miss S, it
Yes.
says optional name, and it won't let me go forward without an optional name. And I don't want to have an optional name.
Just put in Austin again, if it won't let you.
I'm gonna put in Drippy.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so this is, I want to show you here, if you're in Schoology. Oh, there's Maya. All right, so you're in Schoology for today, right? Hello, chat. And right here is where you'll submit your European Playwright project, which again is due today at midnight, okay? So once you've finished this, this is our next project. It's the musical theater paper that is due basically the day before Thanksgiving break, okay? So once you've completed this project, which should be tonight by midnight, we're moving on to your musical theater paper, all right? So if you open that up, and you should be able to see mine, it says the 18th. I think yours is actually the 19th, all right? So here's what you're going to be doing. You're going to choose a musical from this YouTube playlist. Once you've picked it, check with me to make sure that it's appropriate, because not every musical is, and the quality varies from one version to the next. So I want to make sure you're watching something that is high quality. If you don't know what to pick, I will help you, okay? Once you've chosen what you're going to watch, all you have to do is watch it, all right? And then you have to write a paper that consists of basically 3 paragraphs. The first one is you're going to identify what you watched. Then you will critique it, and then you will write a reflection about it, all right? So in the identification, you present the play, the genre that it is, right? Why did you pick it? What questions did it raise for you? In the critique section, you can talk about things like acting or set design, how they contribute to the tone of the scene, all right? And you,
Miss, it shows that I'm in.
I'm sorry?
It shows that I'm in. It should say I'm in, but when I'm asking, it says I'm not in when I put join class.
In Nearpod? Yeah, this isn't in Nearpod. This is in
Yeah,
Schoology.
but like I put join class, and I don't know if I'm in. It's just freezing.
In Nearpod, let me see.
Wait, you need another piece of paper? Okay, bet.
No, I don't see you in the Nearpod, so you're gonna have to log in again. Okay, so then in the critique, like I said, you provide a review.
Come on, read.
And then in the last portion, you are going to basically say, like restate, what did you think about it? What were the elements? Why did you pick it? What lesson did you learn? Okay. Your paper has to be 600 to 850 words, and you need to use and cite one source. Okay. So that is what you need to be working on once you have completed your project, which again is due tonight by midnight. What questions do you have about this paper? No, the paper is due on the 19th of November. So you have 10 days. That's why I separated it into two things. Project, that's done, should be done today by midnight. Then you can change your focus to the paper. Not a problem. What else? So we'll try to dedicate a little time on Wednesday to look through the YouTube links together and see if there's anything, help people choose what they want to look at. Okay. Justice, it can be a paper or it can be a Google slide for the project. For the project, I do not, for the project itself, and again, I'm going to go back to the assignment here. I am not concerned about word length or how many slides it needs to be for the project, but I want you to make sure that you are doing what I've asked you to. So your project should tell us who the writer is, needs to tell us about the kinds of plays that they wrote, and it needs to tell us why you think they are important to theater. Okay? And then you need to cite one source. So I would imagine that you can't do that in less than 6 slides on a Google Doc, right? As a minimum. I personally would probably need more like 7 or 8, right? Okay. We do not do that for, because this is a, what's the word? Summative. This is a summative assignment. So you will not get a late grade on it. However, the longer you take on putting this together, the less time that you're giving yourself on the paper, right? Okay. So just think about it that way. And this isn't new. I mean, you've had this project for a while. I'm just reminding you that it's due today at midnight. So you should have already had work done on it. You had the whole weekend too, okay? What other questions? Are we good? Looking at the Nearpod, I can see that there are still a few people who are not in the Nearpod. So who am I missing? Leah's here. Hey. Yeah. Sorry, guys, just a second. While I'm working on this, go ahead, please, and make sure you're signed into the Nearpod. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right, okay. So hopefully everybody's got logged into the Nearpod, and away we go. Okay, so today we're going to talk about German theater. Woo!
You're lagging over here on my end. I
Okay.
don't know if you're cutting out real bad.
Okay. Let me turn off my video. Okay, how about now? Is that better?
Yes, that sounds a whole lot better, ma'am.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about German theater. So German theater is not theater that we talk about very much in theater history. Even in like when I took theater history in undergrad for college, we really did not discuss Germany a whole lot. And part of the reason why that is because Germany begins its own theater very, very late. And you'll see what I mean. Don't worry about this. We're not doing journals anymore. So we are going to talk about why Germany begins their own theater so late. We're going to talk about a type of theater called Sturm und Drang, which means storm and stress. And then we're going to talk about one specific play that's called The Robbers. Finally, we'll talk about just a little bit of how Germany introduced people to Romanticism and how important that is to theater. So, anybody want to read the first two parts of this slide for us?
Is it in Nearpod, right?
Yeah, in Nearpod. That's correct.
I'll do it.
Okay, great.
Okay. Oh, shoot. Hold up. It just locked me out again. Hold on. Let me log back in real fast. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, so
Having-
you want to read the first two you said?
Yep, just the first two, the in 1640 and before unification.
Okay. In 1640, Germany was made of 300 separate provinces.
Yes.
This is partially why we don't get theater in Germany until much later than the other countries. Before unification, those who could afford it would import theoretical performance from France and or Italy.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes. So think about when we talked about England and France and Italy and Spain, all of those countries were formed at like and had like a central government way earlier than Germany. So up until 1640, Germany wasn't really its own country. It was all these different sort of provinces, or think about them as states that had, some of them had stuff in common and some of them didn't. Okay. So there was no central government, there was no central sort of money, there was no centralized religion. So it was kind of difficult for them to get any kind of theater started, right? So until it became one united country, if you were very rich and you wanted some kind of entertainment, you actually had to hire someone from like a theater company from usually France or Italy to come to your castle, usually, and perform for you. Okay? Who wants to read the other two? How about Justice? Can you read those for me?
English plays were not very popular. However, English clowns entertained the common people at fairs.
Good.
German's first playwright was also the world's first dramaturg,
Yeah.
or a person who counsels theaters on doing a play and or edits new works for new playwrights.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So yes, so they are hiring people, actors from France or Italy, but all of that English stuff wasn't very popular with them. Now, when we talk about a clown, like an English clown, we're not necessarily talking about the kinds of clowns that we know today, right? Instead, what we're really sort of talking about are comedians, like comic shows. Okay. So, have you ever been to like a fair and actually watched one of the shows that they put on there? Or you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So that's more what we're talking about here, like funny shows, and they would go around the town, they would go around the countryside, and they would perform these little acts for the people, right? So the English are in Germany, but they don't have a very big presence as far as the royalty is concerned. So when it comes to German playwrights, or the people who are writing plays, they also are very interested in dramaturgy. And I'm going to put that in the chat, which is still a thing that we study today. And it's a job in the theater. So a dramaturg is often kind of like a research assistant. So if you're doing a play that has a lot of history, that person might assist you in telling you all about how the play's been done before or what it was like the first time it was done. But the other job that they do is that they help new playwrights get their work sort of done by companies for the very first time. So a lot of theaters will have someone who's a dramaturg who's employed, and they read just a bunch of plays. And if there's a new one that they think is really, really good, then they'll show it to the director, and maybe it'll get done then for the first time. Any questions about any of this? Either the idea of why Germany didn't have its own theater for so long, or the kinds of plays that they did have before they were doing their own. Is it pretty clear? Yes? Okay. Anybody still writing any notes? The notes are in Schoology, but or the slides are in Schoology, but if you're writing, I want to make sure I give you enough time. We're okay? All right. Okay. So, early plays at this time reflected this idea called sentimentalism. That means that people are mostly good, but they're led astray by evil. Okay. However, they're not going to sort of stick with that for very long. So, people usually want to be good, but evil can sort of mess with you, and evil might try to influence you to get you to do stuff that you shouldn't be doing, right? Okay. So now we're going to talk about a thing called Sturm und Drang. So, the biggest thing that I want you to know about Sturm und Drang is that it is not a unified movement. So, what does that mean? If it's not unified, what does that mean, do you think? Or it's also not, what's another good word? Not organized, Jaden? That's a pretty good way of thinking about it. Yeah. The people who were writing during this period did not all agree on what it should be like. Okay. So we have different writers who say that their plays are Sturm und Drang, but they might not look or sound very much like something another writer was also doing at this time. Okay. So it's kind of all over the place. However, there are a few things that we can say most of them had in common. So most of them were against modern life, meaning that they thought that people should be going back to nature, that like cities were becoming really problematic. Okay. Most of them were against something called rationalism, which I'm going to put in the chat. So somebody look up for us, what does that mean? What's rationalism? Okay, so Avril posts, a belief or theory that opinions and actions should be based on reason and knowledge rather than on religious belief or emotional response. Okay, great, perfect. So most of them thought that rationalism wasn't good, right? They think that instead of using reason and knowledge, that you should be using your heart, your emotions to make decisions. Okay. Some of the people who wrote during this time opposed neoclassicism. So, what were the three main components of neoclassicism? Just in case I'm going in and out, I typed it in the chat. Who remembers? Okay, there we go. Justice says time. So the unity of time, the unity of place, and the unity of action. Yeah, woo woo. Okay, great. Good job, Justice. So some of them are going to take that and throw it all out the window. Some of them are still going to use it because they want to sort of show how you could use the unities and but tell something that looks and sounds completely different. And then finally, some of them are going to use elements of in the plot that include murder and violence in order to make a point about humanity, right? They want to show like what happens, like what some of what evil can like make humans do, or like the kinds of bad things that humans will do to one another. Okay. Questions so far? We sort of understand it? So I want to show you some examples of this. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of time to look over these two different resources. So the first one is here. Okay. So go ahead and open that up. And then the other one is going to be a summary of this play called The Robbers. So take a look at that. And then when you are finished looking at those, so again, I'm going to give you about 10 minutes. Okay. And then I want you to put into the Nearpod a response saying why you think that The Robbers was considered so scandalous at the time. So I'll put a timer on. If you need let's do 12 minutes because I think the other class needed about 12 minutes. So let's go ahead and do 12. Setting the timer. Take your time. Look over those two documents and then go ahead and post. And this is going to be a participation grade, okay, to post in the Nearpod. Just a reminder, you need to answer that question in your pod when you finish in order to get your participation grade. Got some good answers coming in. I'm trying to sort of let them sit for a little bit before I post a batch of them. Got about 4 minutes. Okay, got a couple more minutes. You guys need more time to read or no? We good? Still missing about 9 people who haven't answered in the Nearpod, and there's several of you who haven't signed into the Nearpod at all. So you're not going to be able to get credit if you don't sign in. Okay, the timer just went off, so I'm going to give you just another minute, and then we have got to move on. So go ahead and put. Why do you think that people thought it was scandalous? You weren't able to get into the Nearpod, but you read the article. Tell me in the chat. Why do you think that everybody responded that way? Like, why was it considered scandalous? Yes. Okay. So a couple of you have pinpointed this. Ethan just messaged it to me. So there's a few things that he did that Schiller did here. He intentionally breaks the rules of neoclassicism, right? All of that is pretty much out the window. There's a subplot. It takes place over like 2 years, right? But the other thing that he did that a couple of you sort of hinted at is that he also takes the rules of society and he breaks those as well. So we have a brother who intentionally chooses to leave his upper class family and instead sort of like hang out with these robbers, right? Which is very scandalous at the time. The ending of the play was pretty scandalous. Okay. So the idea of where different levels of society should keep apart, right? One of you said it was scandalous because it was about a brother stealing his other brother's inheritance, and it broke the idea of don't mix different levels of society, right? You're supposed to follow society's rules. He breaks all of those rules as well. So, yeah, he basically not only breaks the rules of the theater, but he also breaks the rules of how sort of society was structured. All right. So now we're going to talk about romanticism. Okay. Ethan, can you read this for us, please?
Emotion over intellect. People should make decisions from their hearts and not their minds. The importance of nature. Human beings are at their best in nature.
Right. So these are the two sort of main tenets of romanticism. That you should make your decisions based on how you feel, based on what your heart tells you, and that nature is where human people are at their best. So again, it's they're rejecting things that like cities and modern inventions and things like that. They're saying that that's actually creating problems for humanity. So how do we resolve this? Well, according to the Romantics, we can get closer to nature through art, meaning paintings and sculpture and novels. That art can bring us closer to nature if it's done by a gifted artist. That theater can help because it encourages play and it wants you to have an emotional response, right? And that finally, what you can do to contribute to this is to believe in idealism, to picture a perfect future and what that would look like. Okay. Now, what do you think about that? Do you agree with these tenets? And do you think with your heart or do you think with your head? So do you agree that these are right? Okay, I've got a response that says a little bit of both. It depends. Okay. So yeah, you're saying, right, that it's more romanticism is kind of an extremist view, right? I think with my head, not my heart, but it depends on the scenario. I think with both. Okay. So I've got a couple people in chat who are saying that it depends on how they're feeling at the time. Most of the time you need both. Okay. So yeah, I think what we're sort of coming to a consensus here is that obviously they're taking this to an extreme, right? In romanticism, they're saying like, oh, like you have to do it this way. Whereas most people realistically probably use both together, right? Okay, good. In the middle, it really depends on the situation to think with heart or head because both can be opposing ideals. That's exactly correct. 100%. So romanticism is sort of an extreme view, right? Okay, good. Now, here's something new, something that we haven't really talked about before, okay? So because these playwrights thought it was impossible to stage perfection, a lot of the plays written during this time were called closet dramas, meaning that they were meant to be read alone and staged in the minds of the reader. So they're saying, oh, you know, we can't actually stage perfection, right? And they're asking you to create like an ideal world. So since that's not possible, they will ask you to imagine it, but not actually perform it on stage. Well, that's brand new, right? We haven't really talked about this before. Now, it's actually been something that was around when plays were illegal. People would write them still. but they wouldn't perform them publicly, right? So it has been something that has been done. We just have not discussed it a lot. All right, so this video, we don't have time to watch it now, so I'm going to put the link for it in Schoology, and I would like you to watch it as your homework, okay? So that's going to be your homework for today, is going to be to watch this, I think it's a 15-minute video. So you don't have to worry about it now. It's actually 12 minutes, okay? But I do want you to watch this 12-minute video tonight as your homework. Make sense? Let me know if it doesn't. Okay, like I said, not that difficult, right? We're just gonna watch a fun little video. And it'll be 12 minutes of your life. It's a crash course theater, okay? Okay, so we don't need to worry about that. All right, so you've got 7 minutes for your exit ticket. So go ahead and open that up in Schoology to do your exit ticket, okay? Let me see if I can start my video again. Remember that you need to turn in your projects tonight by midnight. I don't think I got very many journal entries from this class. Was it closed? Is there a reason why? Did I get any of them? It was closed. All right, so I'm going to open up your journal entries so that you can submit them. So please go ahead and do that as well. I will go ahead and make that due tomorrow night just to give you a little bit more time. There you go. That's done. So, okay, sorry about that, guys. So go ahead and submit your journal entries tonight or tomorrow night. Let's just do it. Just plan on doing it tomorrow night. Focus tonight on your project, right? So I'm going to go ahead and type this in the chat tonight. Project due by midnight. Tomorrow, journals due by midnight. 1 12-minute. No, you're supposed to be doing the journal entries as we go, right? So go back through the slides and you'll see which ones had journal entries. So you're going to start after the quiz. So you'll start with medieval theater. You can just take a look at all those slide sections if you are concerned that you've maybe missed a journal entry. Or someone who has all of them can tell you how many, because each class is a little bit different, because it sort of depends on time. And if I feel like one class isn't paying attention, right, then I might give them more journal entries. Anything else? So do your journal entry. Once you've completed the journal entry, that is it for me. Please make sure to turn in your project because it is a summative. It's better to turn it in late than not at all, but the later you are with the project, the more time you're taking away from yourself on your paper, right? And I am here for the next 4 minutes with you. If you have any questions, let me know. Yep, you can leave once you're done. Unless you have any questions for me. Okay, guys, it is 1:10, so I'm going to close the room. Please finish your exit ticket, and I would love to get your projects tonight by midnight. I will talk to you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.